Test. Okay, we're on. Tala mea whasolo o nei no fofoia e olo no fe auma ngā luenga le ni aso. Talafalava and good morning, everyone. I hope you've had a good start to your Tuesday. Before we begin our formalities, I kindly remind you to ensure your phones are on silent so that we minimize any disruption or distractions to our program. If you already have, if you missed it when you came through, we already have coffee and tea. If you haven't had your fix this morning, that will be available throughout our program. At this point, I humbly request our chief guests to take their seats on the stage. Honorable Minister of Finance, Losunga, Reverend Yesewele, Your Excellency Trevor Matheson, and Mr. Greg Furness. Thank you, gentlemen. So in keeping with our traditions and protocols, we will begin with the service, and Reverend Yesewele will lead us in our morning devotion. Ile avatele e te tauai o te tausanga tuai Losunga, ile te tae Samoa, Losunga Yesewele, te au Samoa, mo le taita e ina o le sauninga amata o le tatou whaamoemoe tā o le nei tai au. Losunga.
Ya, o te wala au atu. Tu whaatasi o tātou loto mo tātou wanganga. Tātou tu ina atu le nei whaamoemoe lumo lo tātou atua. Maia, tātou tāpuai i le atua. O mai ia, tātou toe fo'i atu i le alii. Tātou te loa fo'i, o lo tātou tau sisi atu i e loa le alii. O sau nia lo nā fio atu e pei o le tae ao. E fio mai foi o ia ia tei tātou, e pei o le ua. E pei o le timu muli muli, ma le timu mua mua i le ele ele. O le titalo mo le anganga pa ia, se i o tātou wifo ma te talo i le atua. Le atua pa ia e. Le atua sili sili ese, le atua mamana. Le atua e pule au au. Wa mātou poto poto i le neita e ao i wha moe moenga. Au wā ngā luenga mo le a ngai luma ma le ati nā e. O si o mātou watu nuu ma o mātou tangata. Mātou i ai whaatasi fionga i le minista. Wha ululunga ma tā ngā luenga. O sui o mālo mai fafo. O e ua fesoa so ani tele mai mo i mātou. A ua mātou mua i afe atu ta mā. A fio mai e ala i loa nganga pa ia. A fio mai i le nei tae ao i le ua. A fio mai o se ti munga. Whaasu su i a tupu maola. Tau alumanga ma fuafuanga o le nei asu. Ia i umea umalava i le vi inga o la ua fio. Whaatasi mai i la mātou whaalata lata atu i la ua fio. Whaatamau ainga ina o mātou loto i lou lava mana. Ono Yesu ke riso lo mātou o lima lo mātou whaaola ua mātou te tālo atu ai nei. Amen. O te whaitau ina nisio upu mai la fionga pa ia lo tātou atua. Tusi filifilia, whaata oto e luas fuluma le tasi. O te whaitau ina le whai upu e lima. Whaafafonga ia o le whetalai mai o le alii. E ala i nisi o ana fionga pa ia. O mā whauwhaunga, o e whili ngā i ngā luenga, nā o le mau mea e iu i ai. A o mawhauwhaunga o e whaata alise umalava. E I uai na ole mativa. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. May God bless us in reading of His Holy Spirit, reading of His Bible, and unto Him be glory now and forevermore. The main text for a short sermon this morning is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 5, and it reads, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." Au mea e iu iai. Ma faufaunga o e whaata alise umalava. E iu I le nā o le mativa. Whaata oton tātou whaitauina wa tā ua I le poto, le siitia, o le soifua le lei. Le siitia o le iloa ma le tamao a inga. O le a ngai luma o se soifuanga ma le maua o mea. Ina ua ngā lulue ma le fili ngā. Ina ua fili ngā ma faufaunga, fili ngā whaatinonga, o na whaato a mau mea lea, maua mea e le tangata. Tā ua fo I le tusia whaata oto sfulu ma le lua whaiupo e lua fitu, o le o loa tā ua, I le tangata, e iai lea I le ua fili ngā I ngā luenga. O le o loa tā ua I le tangata, o le fili ngā I ngā luenga. Tā ua I e tangata popoto nei o au e Peru, sages, Hebrew sages. These are the words, Hebrew sages. E te tau, whaatase maltupo o Solomona, e o whaatasi le fili ngā I ngā luenga, ma le mau mea, maua o mea. O le maua o mea, ma whaawau I le lei, whai mai le poto, o le tusi pa ia, whaato a mautu ma mausali, ina ua fili ngā I whaatinonga. E le ai losa fili ngā I fuafuanga ma tau mawhainga ma whaatinonga. Whai ngō fie o na whaititia ma mou ese atu se tamao a inga. Le maua ni mea e le tangata, ma wha solo solo ina mativa. A fili ngā le whai whaatoanga I lona maumanga, e ola le talo koko maua le popo. A le ai, ua le tango lima. A fili ngā fuafuanga, fili ngā le tutu whaatasi ma ngā lulue whaatasi, e a tina hae se wha moe moe. Ta mao a ingalo na taunu unga. Hupu ia tangata popoto. Popoto lau e Peru. E o whaatasi ma le anganga o le atunga. Tātou te ilo atunu, te tele ta mao a inga, te tele minerale. Maua I o lātou ele ele. A o lea foi ua tātou manino mai loa I nei aso. E mou e se a. Ina ua le ai se fili ngā I whainga le lei. I whaatinonga maati na enga le lei. Ina ua le ai se fili ngā I fuafuanga. Ina ua le ai se fili ngā e tapena. Ina ua le ai se fili ngā e tutu whaatasi. Whai mai le whaata oto. A whaata la le. A whaata mala. A le fili ngā le mā faufau. E le ai se mea e maua. Ma o I le mativa. E le mawhai o na o whaatasi le whaata la le. Whaata alise. Le le a mi o tonu. Ma le maua o mea wha wau. E le o whaatasi. O le I unga o le whaata la le. Ma le whaata alise. Ma le le a mi o tonu. E iu I le mativa. Whaasinonga leo le tala le lei mo le nei aso whaapitoa. Ma le nei wha moe moe. Wha malo si au fo lea mo I tātou uma. La wa fionga le minista ma whaululunga ma tā ngā luenga. Suia malo mai whafo o tātou mafuta. Tangata ngā lulue. Wha malo mo le nei wha moe moe. Wha malo le fili ngā. Wha malo le tau mo whai. E le whai ngō fie. Ia tū maulo o tau fili ngā I mā whauwhaunga poto ma le ata mai. Fili ngā I fuafuanga ma whaatinonga. ina ia mau pea le fōlaunga si o tātou atu nuu. Masani ona tātou whaalongo i aso ia. Manatu o le fu e tupu lava i aso nei pe a mauatotongi o tangata whai ngā luenga. Masani ona tau o le aso le tupu. Tasi a le aso e milionea ai. To e foi lea i le lea ai o se mea. E tupu pea, pe a le iai, pe a le filinga i le fua le lei. A umae le aso le tupu, o le ise tupe, le ise a whaina. Mo uma aso la. O aso ne, ua ngai luma le soifuanga wa taunga tā foi. A leo tātou iai le nei wha moe, financial inclusion. O se mawhauwhaunga ma fuafuanga, ia wha tatau, fua, sa ili au wala e wha le lei ai. Le va aia le lei, ma le whaonga inga o tupe na i o tātou tangata. Whawhetai le whilinga. Wo le vai tau o tele ma ese, mea e tutupu ma le te konolosi. Miti ia ai, tau ma whainga, tupe maua na i o tātou tangata. Ua tatau fo i o na tātou matuā whilinga. Whilinga i le matai tū, ma whausia au wala le lei. Wha le lei ai, tupe. Maua, tupe alu, ina i o tātou a inga mo tātou tangata, ma lo tātou tamao a inga. Whai titia le mativa tasi leo le aunga tā au o le nei wha moe. Whilinga ai le vaai au tupe maua, ia mai tau wina ai le wha o ngā tau, ma le a puti. Tupe maua nei a inga, mā tua, ta māma le tina, tama foi ma le teine, tūpulanga. Pisi nisi ma wala ese o manui ai tūpulanga e oi ta alonga. Malanga i vaa. Ia o ma le whilinga, e ala i lea o atu. Tau sia ma le vaai ale lei o la tau tamao a inga. Tā ua lea ma lea o ngā. Mo ta tau o na tātou matuā whilinga. Tasi le vaenga tā ua, pe o na whaelo atu i le pepa o onga o le nei aso ma le wha moe ia o ina. Wha tupu ina, wha matalanga ma o onga. Financial literacy. Fesoso ani nei o tātou tangata i le pule ina ma le wha soa. Aua ne i mativa ma le tāngo lima. Ia tupu ai foilo lātou whilinga e ngā lulue mātina e. Sefe tupe au wā ngā luenga tā ua ma le lei o le atina enga. Whaataltal noanga la o le nei aso, o le whi au le o le tala le lei. O mawhauwhaunga o e whilinga i ngā luenga. E maua mea. Mawhauwhaunga o e whaataalise. Ma le manatu mamafa. E iu lava i le ai ma le mativa. Ia whaamanuia le atua le nei whaamoe. Whaatamao ainga ina e le atua lawa fionga le minsta. Sui o malo mai whawhau o tātou mafuta whaululunga ma tā ngā luenga. Tātou whilinga pēa i le wheau ma le tiu te o wāla au wina ilo o tau soifua. Upuna o whaitau wina i le amatanga o le nei sauninga. O upu al perfecto i o sea. O mai a tātou woi le alii, e a fio mai le alii e pei o le tae ao, le ale winga. E a fio mai pei o le ua. E pei o le timu, e whaasu ai le ele. O le ua ma le timu, e to ulu, ma ola, ma tupu tele ai, ma fua mai ai i le lei le wha moe. Fia Yesu le tangata whilinga, au na tuu iai tā leni e lima, whilinga to e mau ai le isi lima, mau mea. Tupu maola pea ma whaea ina. A le ai ua mativa e pei o le au na avatu ai le tasi. Le ai se mea na whaia ma ave e sea. Manuia tele le nei wha moe. Ono Yesu. Amen. Pese se laus fulma lima tātou te pese ai whai upu mua. Pei o le ua e su ai le la lo langi ne. E o lai matu tupu ai o mea totoi na ile atua e ia wha pena o matou lo tonei tō mai le ua aonga o lo anganga sa. Yo e lea tungae, wa mātou whaalata lata atu i o luma. Mo e sila fia lo mātou wha moe moe. Fionga le minister. Whaululunga ma tā ngā luenga. Sui o mālo mai fafo, ua o mātou māfuta o pāanga. Ua ngā lulue le nei wha moe moe tamā. Ua mātou whaalata lata atu, mātou te leo loa. E pei o upua o ao mai mo i mātou. O au a fionga paia. O lau a fio e te a fio mai e pei o le tae ao. E te a fio mai o le ua. E tutupu ai maola mea le lei. Ma fua tele mai. I fua e le lei ma manui ai au tangata. Le ala leo la mātou whaalata lata atu. Mātou vi ia ma whawheteia lau a fio e te itai mai lo lātou soifua. Au na nei. Malo longa o le pō wa e au mai le nei aso fōu ma le nei tae au fōu. Se i o mātou whāle. Se i o mātou whi whaasoa ai. Se i fili ngā o mātou māwhau whau malangona. O ata mai ma whaatinonga. A wāle manuia o lou atu nuu manai o mātou tangata. Mātou whaafetai ai le mālosi o le poto ma le ata mai. O au mea lofa o le ola o e li lingi mai. A lea wa mātou māfuta i le nei tae au. Whaafetai lau tau singa usua mālo mai fafo. Sui o mālo o mātou māfuta lo lātou fesoasoa ni mai. Ia Samoa malo nātina enga. Whaafetai tele tamā. Vi ia lau o fio i lau sili ese malo mamalu. Lea lava wa e whaasoa mai mo i mātou. A ua mātou whaalata lata atu lea tua. A lofa ngia le nei whaamoe moe. Toto whaaua le poto ma le ata mai. Se i toto whaaua le whilinga. Se i toto whaaua le mālama lama. Ma le oe ai ma le tutu whaatasi le whaamoe moe o le nei aso. Ina ia iu ma le manuia. O ona tau ma whainga uma mo le manuia o tangata ia so solo atu. Whaatupu ina e la wa fio le atuai. Whaamanuia la fio ngali minister. Whaatamao ainga ina o na whaiva mo o na tiute. Ia iai o manuia i tau ma whainga umat le atuai. Mua au muli au la wa fio tai la ngona ma mawhau whau. A wā le tai inga. O le atu nuu ma le nei vaenga o tupe mo mātou tangata. Whaamanuia sui o mālo mai fafo. Lo lātou wanga le leimo i mātou. Ta māua mātou te talo tau i sautua tele lau lava a fio. Lo lātou wanga le leifo ina le mālosi a te i lātou. A vea lo mātou māfute le nei atu nuu. Maua ai, pea le mālosi ma le manuia mai lau a fio. Whaululunga o mata ngā luenga. O le a whālele nei mata upu whapitoa. O mātou te talo ta mā ia toto. Lo wanga le lei. Ia pau o se fatu. E ola matupu tele le nei wha moe moe wha waulo na tā ua. A wā le manuia a ngā i luma. Fo ai le fili ngā i mā whauwhaunga mātou te ngā lulue ai. E mauti noa e iu i le maua o mea. Ave ese lo mātou whaatala le. A ia whaamanuia mai la ua fio ma tai. Ia iu le nei wha moe moe. Wha paia ma whaamanuia ma talia mai. Whaatino le atuai. A wā le manuia o tangata. O mātou wha le tonu ma se se. Mea ua le tusa i lausi le whanga paia. Whaamamā ma whaamangalo i mātou uma. I le toto Jesu Keriso. Le toto e sili o na paia. Ua mātou te talo ma ole atu. E ala lava ia Jesu Keriso lo mātou ali ma lo mātou whaola. Amen.
Talitonu o lea ua mai au na mamoli la palapa malo. Awalo tatou wa tapu ia malo tatou tapa au sili. Moli atuai leanga whaftai i lau sunga le whawhengainga mole whi au whaleanganga. Au se upu whamalo si au foi i awali tia ai lo tatou whamoe le ne yaso. Awai moni lava le upo le tusi o tatou wana ono fuafua a o le atua i whatau nuina. Malo le tapena. O le mātou te talo, alofangia le atua, pule te le whaatu mula utu, maua lau tō whapaia, a wāle tala ina, o lana tala lei. Ua tāpena ina le whalatupe tūtonu, se mea alofa whatau waa, mo lau sunga le whawhengainga. E tali masinea e fwoi lau su mai, a wāle tātou whamoe le tai au. Thank you, Reverend Yesewele, for the wonderful spiritual message this morning. We pray that our Lord grant you continued wisdom and strength to continue in His service. For the next part of our program, I would now like to call upon Governor of the Central Bank of Samoa, Le Fionga Maiava Atalina Ainu Enari, to deliver her welcome address. Le taimi nei e atea o le avatele, e val awa tuailo Fionga ko vanal faltupe tuton lo Fionga Maiava Atalina Ainu Enari, mo lau sanoanga whawhelo ai.
Haftai tinga mala. Ia o te manatu o le ata o to ia wha maene o tai loto e tu lolo wha la o ta puele pa ia male malua ta tau poto mail nei tai au. Ai tau ina o saua le vā pa ia o Samoa yon tūlanga whalupea masani o na o Samoa o le ama mala il wha so ngā o ama le atu folasa. Sula o sunga i le o si taulanga sunga Reverend Yesewele ia o le whawhengainga taulangi o atu whai ono matama asim pātū. Tapi al tau singa manongi a manu matama pua. Ia male malu nofo a inga ia fuata. Ia opa ia whan malo, ia o lea ia fio, lea fio ngal minsta o tupe. Ia lea fio ngā lau timu ia fua wele se wā ai. Ia whapea sui ma malo mai fafo. Ia o a fio fo i whauru lunga mtanga luenga, whaalopa ptonga malos. O sui ma malo la o whai pisinisi, ia whapea lasi o la fia le nei a fiafi, ia opa ia whaleanga nuu. Ia ole a ngona tuele o songa atu mua mpule ma lata svatele. Ai a vea lo ole whata wa e whawheloa ia tua ia loa ia tau pa ia mal tau ma malu. O mwhaian whaava no ina mai o tau taimi tāua, ia tātou te mol mawina le nei, whaamoe moe le nei tai au, a fio mai mtala mai o au se taimi, ia sau noa ia le fio ngal minsta o tupe. Ia toso o tau matu palpala. Ia pe whailo fo ilu pal seunga. Ia wā aunga au tele ni tai au. Ai talu waiona o lea e whalonga tato pa anga mai fafo. Lea e langolango ina malo sine whaamoe moe. Ia o lea le alafo ile ngana. Se i whaisina tala tala au na o lea whalonga tato pa anga. Ia Reverend Yesewele, the Minister of Finance, Your Excellencies, Diplomatic Corps, heads of government, ministries and corporations, our colleagues from the private sector and civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Talo falava and good morning. On behalf of the Central Bank of Samoa and as chair of the National Financial Inclusion Council, I have the honor of welcoming you all, our key stakeholders. So today we gather for a momentous occasion. It's the joint launch of Samoa's second National Financial Inclusion Strategy and the Digital Financial Literacy Survey Report. So in doing so, we are launching a reaffirmed commitment to ensure all Samoans are empowered through affordable and accessible financial services. Collaboration has the power to bridge gaps, overcome challenges and unlock opportunities. So this was evidence in the successes of implementing the first NFIS, in which you all played a vital part in. And I thank you all for coming together, pooling our resources and channeling our collective expertise towards implementing the first NFIS. So the financial inclusion policy agenda has become increasingly vital at the global stage, underscoring its importance as a powerful tool for the economic empowerment of individuals, families, small businesses, and economies. So your attendance today is a clear and resounding recognition of this. and in the belief that the spirit of collaboration and partnership can steer our collective efforts to foster an inclusive financial future for Samoa. So thank you all for your attendance today and for answering the call to be part of an important policy agenda to help our people prosper. So it's a pleasure to see you all here. On that note, it's an honor and privilege for me to invite the Minister of Finance, Honorable Lautimuia Afuaweleseva'ai, to deliver the keynote address for this momentous occasion. Laufiongan Minister.
Thank you, Governor. For information of our gathering today. My dear friend, Reverend Yese Wile, we go way back. Started the Ministry of Finance. He is taking the right path, become the priest. I've taken quite the opposite. So we go way back. Lau sungai le taitai sao ninga. Lau sungan whawhiangainga, Reverend Yese Wile, Your Excellencies, High Commissioners, New Zealand and Australia, our United Nations colleagues, donor partners and partners from the private sector and civil society, Chief Executive Officers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address this important gathering to celebrate the launch of the second National Financial Inclusion Strategy and the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey Report for Samoa. The journey leading up to the formulation of the second national strategy had been one of introspection, evaluation, and collaboration. Building upon the successes and the challenges of the first national strategy, we embarked on a rigorous process through consultations with government entities and private sector partners, many of whom are here with us today. We gathered invaluable insights and reflections, conversations marked by diverse perspectives and shared aspirations, have shaped the strategic pillars and enablers outlined in this second national strategy. This strategy is not just a strategic document. It represents our vision for a financially inclusive Samoa. It lays the foundation for a resilient financial sector that ensures universal access to diverse, affordable, and responsible financial services. This vision goes beyond individual empowerment. It resonates with the core of our government initiatives and drives progress across key sectors of our economy. As Samoa continues to thrive and diversify its economy, the need for responsive and responsible financial services becomes increasingly apparent. However, it is equally important for our citizens to embrace their roles and responsible economic actors. The Digital and Financial Literacy Survey Report for Samoa is a comprehensive survey undertaken by the UN Capital Development Fund and TIPAT Research, and provides invaluable insights into the digital and financial literacy landscape of Samoa. This is a key deliverable under the vibrant digital financial ecosystem strategic pillar of the second national strategy that encourages innovative technologies to cultivate an ecosystem where business can thrive and individuals can transact securely and conveniently. This second national strategy places a special emphasis on vital sectors such as agriculture and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. About 42% of our population is engaged in agriculture, and thousands of businesses contribute to our economy through the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises sector. This second national strategy focuses on providing these sectors with access to formal financial services, empowering them to expand, invest, and innovate. By strengthening financial inclusion within these sectors, we are not only supporting economic growth, but also ensuring the livelihoods of many Samoans. Embracing digital technologies and digital financial services also holds great potential for our remittances sector, which is a vital source of income for our country, accounting for at least 30% of our GDP. More than half of which come from families abroad, especially New Zealand and Australia. Samoans, like many Pacific Islanders, have long faced obstacles when it comes to sending and receiving money across borders, such as high transaction fees and limited financial service access points, making even basic financial transactions quite challenging. Equipping our people with the right knowledge and well-designed digital products can alleviate these burdens. With that said, 77% of Samoan adults from the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey stated that digital financial services are essential for remittances. Also highlighted in the Digital Financial Literacy Survey, Samoans have an average or median level of financial literacy. This and many of the survey's findings will better guide the necessary interventions, being rooted in evidence and tailored to specific needs, to further extend our reach of enhancing financial education and digital literacy in the pursuit of a more financially resilient and empowered Samoa. As emphasized in this second national strategy, achieving financial inclusion requires collaboration. It calls for robust public-private partnerships where the government, development partners, and private sector institutions work hand in hand. By cultivating these partnerships, we can create an environment where innovation thrives, fair practices prevail, and responsible finance becomes the norm. Such partnerships are the bedrock of a strong and resilient economy. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, the Government of Samoa's Pathway for Development 2022-2026 was developed with an overarching theme, empowering communities, building resilience, and inspiring growth. I am pleased to state the strategy and the report we are launching today greatly complement that theme and our development efforts. To conclude, I take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the governments of Australia, New Zealand, the European Union, the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States who support the UNCDF's Digital Finance for Resilience program and the Pacific Digital Economy program. I commend you all for your support of Samoa's national priorities and commitment to our development efforts. I also acknowledge and thank the UNCDF for the invaluable support, technical guidance, and partnership throughout this journey. A journey that holds a lot of promise to prosper Samoa and the lives of our citizens. Lastly, to our development partners, private sector partners, UNCDF, and all industry stakeholders, together with our government, ministries and agencies. I look forward to your continued and renewed partnerships and collaborative efforts towards an inclusive future for all Samoans. Thank you all for your attention. Soifu and God bless.
Mamoli atu le ngā whaftai te le lau whionga le minsta. O tupe, mo lau sanoanga au tu. O la mātou te talo, ia maua pēr e lau whionga le tō whā le loto. A mai seo le mālo si le tino, mā whau ma le anganga mai le atua. A walo wala awina. Mo le whaafoina o vaenga tutoi o le tātou wha moe moe. O le a li liu lo le ngangana. Ia na ia whaafaingo fie. Thank you very much, Honourable Lautim Ia, Afuawe Leseva, Minister of Finance, for your keynote address that has set the scene for our launch this morning. We humbly invite you, Honourable Minister, to do the honours by cutting the ribbon to officially launch the NFIS2 and the DFLS report for public use. So can I call on one of the staff or for this? And the photo opportunity, please. There. The scissors is right there and the ribbon. So whilst Minister is doing this, on the screen we will have the QR code. Yes, but before that, yes, Honourable Minister. So that officially launches our strategy and report. And as I was trying to say before, we now have the electronic version of the reports accessible through the QR codes available on the screen. Thank you, Honourable Minister, again. For the next part of the program, I have the honour of inviting the remarks from Your Excellency, Dr. Trevor Matheson, New Zealand High Commissioner to Samoa.
Lau Susunga, Reverend S.A. Ulele, thank you for reminding us of the words of our Lord and their power and wisdom. To Minister of Finance, Lau Awhionga, the Honourable Lau Tamuia, thank you for your kind remarks and for opening this session. The Governor of the Central Bank of Samoa, Lau Awhionga Maeva, to the Acting Deputy High Commissioner of Australia, to all those assembled, UN colleagues, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Ena tini ena mano, koto katoa tena koto. To those gathered here, greetings to you all. Talofa lava manuele aso morena. I am honoured to be here today on behalf of the Government of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Agents have played a pivotal role in making today's celebrations possible. In addition to the NFIS2 launch, we have also seen the introduction of a new knowledge piece, the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey. The survey will provide valuable insights that will inform targeted interventions by government and the sector to strengthen digital and financial literacy here in Samoa, ultimately leading to greater financial and digital inclusion. My country, Aotearoa, New Zealand, is honoured to stand alongside Samoa as a key development partner and to be a proud supporter of UNCDF-led Pacific Digital Economy Programme. Our relationship with Samoa is deep-rooted in history and whanangatanga, with extensive family and cultural links between our countries. Indeed, Samoans make up the largest Pacific ethnic group in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Our economic and social ties are intertwined, with Samoans contributing significantly to growth in the New Zealand economy, while at the same time kindly supporting their families in Samoa through remittances. Given these rich ties, Aotearoa New Zealand is fully committed to supporting Samoa's development through our Statement of Partnership. Our strategic goals aim to cultivate an economically resilient, inclusive, independent, and secure Samoa based on a strong partnership. The two initiatives we celebrate today, through the collaboration between the Central Bank of Samoa and the UNCDF, align perfectly with our Statement of Partnership with Samoa, which we aim to renew and update at high-level consultations in Apia next Monday. The National Financial Inclusion Strategy places emphasis on vital sectors such as agriculture and micro, small and medium-sized enterprises by providing these sectors with access to affordable and appropriate formal financial services. We empower them to expand, to invest, and to innovate. This not only fosters economic growth, but also safeguards the livelihoods of many Samoans. As the Honourable Minister has mentioned, the NFIS2 also focuses on the remittances sector, aiming to design innovative products and services that enable recipients to save for their life cycle needs and utilize formal financial services more frequently. This will help alleviate the burden and increase the flow of remittances from Samoan diaspora in Aotearoa, New Zealand, to their families and the communities here in Samoa. I am delighted to see that implementation of the NFIS2 is already underway. The strategy outlines goals to develop and provide innovative, technology-enabled financial products while addressing changing priorities and risks, including those posed by COVID-19 and climate disasters. Just last month, in this very same room, through another initiative of the UNCDF, the Pacific Insurance and Climate Adaptation Program was launched as the country's first parametric insurance product, an innovative financial product that will significantly enhance Samoa's resilience in the face of increasing natural hazards, especially smallholder farmers, MSMEs, and low-income households. Moreover, the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey report sheds light on the current landscape, emphasizing a need for comprehensive digital and financial literacy programs in Samoa. The survey complements the NFIS2 strategy by providing valuable insights also into the areas that require focused interventions. Digital literacy, especially in this modern age of technology, is paramount, and this survey will help inform initiatives that bridge the digital divide and empower our citizens to navigate the digital world effectively. I am excited to hear the discussions on and the interventions that come out of the engagement with the results and findings of that report. I thank our partner donors, the governments of Australia, the European Union, the Organisation of African, Caribbean and Pacific States for their support to initiatives of the Pacific Digital Economy Program and the Digital Finance for Resilience Program. Your collaboration has been instrumental in driving these efforts forward, and we are immensely grateful for your partnership. On behalf of the Government of Aotearoa, New Zealand, I'd like to congratulate the Government of Samoa, the Central Bank of Samoa, and all stakeholders who have come together to contribute to the successful launch of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and Digital and Financial Literacy Survey report. These initiatives mark significant steps towards a more inclusive, a more resilient, and a more empowered Samoa, and wish you all the best in your endeavours. Soifua, e manuia, tēnā koutou, ka huri.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those kind words. I now have the pleasure of inviting for his remarks the Australian Acting Deputy High Commissioner to Samoa, Mr. Greg Furness.
Thank you kindly. Talofa lava, everybody. Acknowledgements, Reverend Yesawala, Minister Lauti Muia, Governor Mayaba, beg your pardon. Your Excellency Trevor Matheson, UN colleagues, partners, private sector, civil society, and distinguished guests. Good morning. My name is Greg Furness from the Australian High Commission. My pleasure to be with you this morning. Thank you kindly for the opportunity to speak. On the weekend, I was asked by some friends here in Samoa whose son is travelling to the Pacific Games in Honiara, Solomon Islands, my former home, about some advice for what I could give for them as they go on their journey this week. It's been a couple of years since I was there, so I reached out to an old friend, and I want to recite her advice to me for you. In Honiara, cash is still king. Very few vendors accept credit cards, let alone have online platforms. There will be a massive strain on vendors, food, resources and services. It's not uncommon for ATMs to run out of cash, so if you can, have extra cash on hand. Now, Solomon Islands is a completely different place to Samoa, I know this, but what it made me think about was a universal challenge, which is how best to maximise the economic potential of large events that we have in our countries, be it the Pacific Games, maybe hosting a Rugby World Cup, or maybe CHOGM. And one of those things is a well-functioning and inclusive electronic and digital economy that can enable the kind of major investment, the retail opportunities, the tourism opportunities that these moments in time can have for our longer-term economic prosperity. It gives me great pleasure to join you all here today in launching the second financial inclusion strategy and the Digital Financial Literacy Survey report that will undoubtedly support Samoa in strengthening its financial inclusion efforts. Today we duly celebrate with the Government of Samoa, you and your portfolio, Honourable Minister, Maiava and your central bank colleagues, and all citizens of Samoa on this milestone. I congratulate UNCDF through the Pacific Digital Economy Program, PDEP, as a partner for Samoa in their own development pathway. Australia is proud to be a supporting partner too in all Pacific peoples and Samoa's economic prosperity. As a partner in PDEP, we have followed the progress in Samoa over time. First in 2015 through the Financial Services Demand Side Survey for Samoa, and later in 2017 the first National Financial Inclusion Survey, strategy. Historical foundations that have led us here today. We know digital technologies will continue to play a central role in shaping strong and resilient digital economies. So we're very pleased that UNCDF's PDEP program is supporting Samoa in their inclusive digital transformation journey. A couple of months ago, the Australian government launched its international development policy. Financial inclusion is key to localised development approaches and localised development outcomes, which is a core pillar of our development assistance here and globally. The launch of the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey report is a stepping stone to achieving these objectives too. With its comprehensive findings, the survey report sheds light on the current state of digital and financial literacy in Samoa. The baseline data will be vital in forming approaches to strengthen financial literacy. And I'd like to acknowledge our colleagues from the commercial banking sector here today, because this is not just a value add for governments and their reporting and regulatory work, but for the commercial banking sector, so they can tailor their services and their own training opportunities that they provide for Samoans as an equally important driver of inclusive economic growth. In closing, I'd like to acknowledge and celebrate the collaboration of all the trusted partners in this work and those who have worked hard in its implementation. And I am very honoured to consider the Australian government on their behalf one of those. Thank you to the Central Bank, to all those here today, to the other funding partners and donors. We eagerly anticipate working together in the coming years as this program continues to grow and achieve new milestones, forging a resilient and sustainable future for Samoa and our region. Raptai te lava.
Thank you, Mr. Furness, for those kind words. For the next part of our program, we aren't able to have in person the next speakers, but we do have video recordings. So before we do that, I kindly ask the distinguished, the chief guests on the stage. Thank you very much for your contributions this morning, but I do ask that you continue with us if you can at the VIP table. This will also enable you to have a better view of the video remarks that we will have next. Thank you. A round of applause, please, everyone. So the first video remarks we will have this morning is from the UNCDF Regional Coordinator, Asia and Pacific, Ms. Maria Perdomo.
Minister of Finance, Honorable Lautinia Afoa Uelese Vai. Governor of the Central Bank of Samoa, Ms. Mayava Atalina Ainu Enari. Representatives from the private sector and the civil society, development partners, members of the media, distinguished guests. Talofa and good morning. Although I would have loved to be today with you in Samoa, my schedule didn't allow me to join you today. Therefore, I am delighted to send this video message and to congratulate Samoa on the launch of your second National Financial Inclusion Strategy. Your dedication to promoting and strengthening financial inclusion has been inspiring, and Samoa can be immensely proud of this big achievement. The UN Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, has been privileged to support Samoa in this journey, working together to create a more inclusive financial landscape. Together, we've achieved remarkable milestones such as the development, launch, and implementation of your first National Financial Inclusion Strategy through innovative and digital-driven models such as mobile money. These initiatives have enabled low-income individuals, households, and other underserved groups, in particular women, to participate in the formal financial system, thereby enabling inclusive growth and showcasing the impact of our collaboration. The launch of your second National Financial Inclusion Strategy and the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey report is yet another testament of our joint efforts. The survey, which was conducted by UNCDF in partnership with Tebut Research, provides valuable insights into Samoa's current state of the digital and financial literacy. It highlights challenges but also opportunities to improve digital financial competencies, paving the way for targeted solutions and a more empowered society. So why is this important? Well, because literacy is one of the main barriers to the wider adoption of financial services and digital financial services, which in turn directly contribute to the growth of economies and now our digital economies. UNCDF, as you know, is committed to building inclusive digital economies across the globe and in the Pacific in particular, that leaves no one behind. Success in this endeavor will depend ultimately on one factor: whether the intended clients understand, accept, and perceive the real value from digital financial services. Financial and non-financial services, let me add. That is why understanding digital and financial literacy at the baseline level is so important. In this rapidly evolving digital landscape, digital and financial literacy hold the keys to unlocking unprecedented opportunities for the people of the Pacific. These literacies are vital enablers, providing individuals with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors needed to navigate the digital realm, access financial services, and harness the true potential of digital technologies. Today, I am delighted to share with all of you the findings of the first digital and financial literacy survey in the country. So let's take a look at some of these key findings. From the 1,216 Samoans that responded to the survey, 79% responded that they have access to a smartphone either for work or personal use. 78% agreed that digital financial services are essential for people sending remittances. 73% have used the internet, but only 24% have a digital mobile wallet. These findings highlight the increasing role that digital technologies can and are playing in Samoa's financial sector, and the importance of strengthening digital and financial literacy to ensure Samoans can effectively use, adopt, and reap the benefits from these innovative products. I encourage each of you to actively engage with the findings of the report, share your perspective, and identify actionable steps that will amplify the impact of our collective efforts. Let us use this opportunity to forge meaningful partnerships that bridge the gaps in financial and digital literacy and ensure everyone benefits from digital solutions. To all stakeholders gathered in the room today in Apia, government partners, development partners, NGOs, civil society organizations, and private sector partners, I thank you for your contributions to the financial inclusion efforts in the country. Now, the success of our endeavors lie in our ability to work together as a cohesive unit with a shared vision of a Samoa where every individual has the knowledge and tools to fully participate in the digital economy. I am confident that today's deliberation will pave the way for actions that will shape the future of financial and digital inclusion in Samoa in a very positive manner. Let us harness the strength of our collective expertise, experience, and determination to usher in an era of inclusive prosperity for all. Before I end, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the donors of our Pacific Digital Economic Program and the Digital Finance for Resilience Program. In particular, the governments of Australia, the government of New Zealand, and the European Union, and of course, the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, whose unwavering support has played a pivotal role in what we are celebrating today. I could not close without also acknowledging the contributions of all our partners in these different programs, in particular UNDP and UNCTAD. Thank you so much. Once again, congratulations, and we are eagerly anticipate the positive impact that the implementation and intervention of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and the findings of the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey will have on the lives of individuals and communities in Samoa. Thank you so much, and I wish you a very fruitful event.
Appreciate the remarks there by Ms. Maria Perdomo, unfortunately, who is not able to be with us today. I've just been reminded that I've been a bit remiss in my MC duties. There was supposed to be a photo session, and this was supposed to be with just the chief guest. So I do apologize in advance. I have to ask you again to please come to the front while we take a quick photo with the reports there. The Honorable Minister, Lausunga, Yes, Your Excellency, Mr. Trevor Matheson and Greg, please. Very quickly, we'll make this as quickly as possible. Thank you very much for that. For the next part, we do have another video remarks. But before we get on to the second video remarks, I just wanted to advise our audience. Our event is live streamed on YouTube, so whilst our colleagues that have delivered the remarks cannot be here, they are joining us virtually. So with that said, I now ask for the video remarks from the Assistant Secretary General of the Organization for African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. And this will be from Mr. Junior Lodge.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and partners gathered here today in Apia, Samoa, on behalf of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, OACPS, I extend warmest greetings to all of you. Our meeting takes place days before the signing of the OCPS Samoa Agreement that will renew a long-standing partnership and seek to foster OACPS sustainable development. The OACPS, in partnership with the European Union, co-manages a number of programs under the Joint Framework for Private Sector Development. One of our implementation partners is the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF. And it is in this context that we welcome and salute UNCDF in terms of their Digital Finance and for Resilience program, an initiative that seeks to enhance financial literacy and promote digital empowerment, objectives that are strongly backed by the OACPS. In this context, we would like to congratulate the government of Samoa and the Central Bank of Samoa on the successful launch of your second National Financial Inclusion Strategy. Indeed, we're delighted by the findings from the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey report. As we have heard from the previous speakers, Samoa is experiencing a growing availability of digital financial services and emerging digital platforms. These advancements have the potential to provide unique opportunities for accelerating financial inclusion and inclusive growth, particularly for marginalized communities. Strengthening digital and financial literacy for all segments of the population, especially marginalized and low-income groups, becomes an imperative if Samoa's full economic potential is to materialize. Today, we launched the Digital and Financial Literacy Report, which assesses the current state of financial and digital literacy in Samoa. This report will serve as the foundation for evidence-based interventions that aim to bridge the gaps in digital and financial literacy. While we celebrate our achievements today, it is important to acknowledge the challenges we have faced on our collective journey towards enhancing digital and financial literacy. One significant obstacle has been the lack of updated data in Samoa, hindering our ability to design effective interventions. However, with the unveiling of the survey's key findings, we can now bridge this critical information gap and take a significant step forward in Samoa's journey towards financial and digital empowerment. The implications of this survey are immense. For the first time, we have comprehensive knowledge of Samoans' experiences with traditional and digital financial services, as well as their competences in the areas of digitalization and finance. These findings will be instrumental in crafting specific and effective educational initiatives to address the gaps in digital and financial literacy. By understanding the diverse needs of different groups, we can ensure that our projects are efficient and impactful. This understanding will enable us to diminish disparities in access and proficiency, empowering Samoans to navigate the digital landscape, access vital services, and participate meaningfully in the digital economy. The findings of this survey align seamlessly with Samoa's priorities, as outlined in the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. They provide valuable insights that will empower individuals, promote gender equality, strengthen communities, enable a resilient financial sector, and drive Samoa's economic growth. I'm pleased to announce two exciting developments that are already underway that would assist the efforts to strengthen digital and financial literacy in Samoa. UNCDF launched and recently closed a call for applications specifically focused on digital and financial literacy and MSME capacity building initiatives for inclusive digital economies in 10 Pacific Island countries, including Samoa. So we will soon see tailored interventions that enhance the digital and financial growth and resilience of MSMEs, women, youth, small farmer holders, retail merchants, migrant workers, and persons with disabilities. In addition, UNCDF's Digital Finance for Resilience program is embarking on conducting similar digital and financial literacy surveys in African and Caribbean regions with the goal to develop and implement targeted interventions. This opens up an opportunity for greater learning and collaboration among African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries in the area of financial and digital inclusion. These interventions are also administered under the joint ACP-EU Private Sector Development Strategy that aims to foster financial inclusion, but are also aligned with the OECP's Private Sector Development Strategy that was revised earlier this year. UNCDF's expertise and our focus on South-South and triangular cooperation will allow us to tap into the wealth of knowledge and experience to strengthen digital and financial literacy in Samoa. I would like to express our gratitude to UNCDF for their unwavering dedication, as well as to the Government of Samoa and Central Bank of Samoa for their commitment to enhancing financial literacy across the country. This collaboration exemplifies the power of international partnerships in driving positive change, and the OCPS takes great pride in being a part of this significant initiative. As we delve into the findings of the survey and engage in discussion, let us aspire to deepen our understanding of the challenges to digital and financial literacy and illuminate pathways towards effective solutions. Together, we hope to witness the emergence of innovative approaches forged through diverse perspectives that can be translated into tangible actions. Furthermore, we look forward to cultivating partnerships and collaborations that will amplify the impact of our efforts. It is through these collaborations that a network of dedicated individuals and organizations will support the initiatives born from this discussion. I would also like to express our gratitude to partners such as the governments of Australia, New Zealand, and the European Union for their invaluable support to the initiatives of the Digital Finance for Resilience Program and the Pacific Digital Economy Program. I thank you for your active participation and dedication to this shared vision. Let us engage in the upcoming dialogue with a shared commitment to shaping a brighter, more financially empowered future for Samoa. I thank you.
A note of thanks for the contribution in terms of remarks by the Assistant Secretary General OACPS. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next part of our program, we're going to deep dive into our topics today, more into the report and the strategy. So the next speaker, it will be Ms. Zaytuna Mustafa, UNCDF PDEP, and she will present more on the Digital Financial Literacy Survey.
Talofa lava, distinguished guests, it is my honor to present the key findings of the long-awaited Digital and Financial Literacy Survey. I think coming after the MC, I'm going into maybe a bit of a boring topic because it's all about data, but I'll try my best to make it as interesting as possible. One thing I wanted to highlight first is data is being said to be the new oil. Is it true? Let's find out. First, we'll delve deeper into the Digital Financial Literacy Survey, which is a very big report that some of you might have already seen. But just to give a bit of context, why did we do this survey? First was to explore the transformative landscape shaped by the growing availability of DFS, which is Digital Financial Services in Samoa. These services are just not transactions. They are pivotal tools, unique capital building resources that have the potential to redefine financial landscapes. The digital frontier is not just a space, it's a dynamic force for economic empowerment. Second, the reason why we did the DFLS, which is the short form I'll use mostly today, is moving forward, we want to recognize this empowerment that must extend every corner of the society, leaving no one behind. And how can we do that is by strengthening the digital and financial competencies as a key to unlocking doors that lead to financial inclusion and prosperity. Third is DFLS role was to assess the current state, because one of the findings or data that we have is Samoa does not have updated data on digital and financial literacy. There is a lot of anecdote data that we are seeing. And for that, it is an essential step and a foundational one to design and implement interventions that are not just well-intentioned, but evidence-backed, because we want to do our interventions in a manner that is evidence-based. These interventions are not abstract strategies, they are concrete steps toward improving digital and financial competencies, particularly among marginalized groups. These can be women, smallholder farmers, migrant workers, people living with disability. The digital age, and with it comes the responsibility to ensure no one is left behind. How can we do that? It's through evidence-backed interventions. One of them will unveil as we talk about the findings of this research. So I think Governor has also talked about, Maria has talked in her video remarks. We had 10% survey respondents when we look at the whole of Samoa as an adult population. And these are adult population from 15 years to 74. Because it was a time that we were just coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. We did 65 of these interviews through face-to-face with local enumerators, and 35% through the phone-assisted, which is the CATI tool. Let me just go to what are the 4 key themes that we were measuring during the Digital and Financial Literacy Survey. The first one is digitalization. Just to give a bit of context, you will see that the scores or the maximum achievable scores are different amongst the four quadrants. There is a science to it. There is also a reason behind why the cutoff are different. And this is based on scientific theories and global benchmarks. So unless I call my the scientific professor here, I might not be able to answer why there's 13, 18, 9, and so on. If we continue, so the first one is digitalization, which is looking at about four aspects. One is digital devices, access to digital devices. Second is digital activities performed by Samoans. Third is internet access. And fourth, online activities. And this can be awareness and participation in safe and safeguard digital and online practices. Second in the quadrant is financial competencies. Here, the maximum achievable score was about 13 points with a focus on engagement with financial safeguards. This can be budgeting, savings behavior. What are Samoans doing with regards these competencies? And also just understanding basic concepts of inflation, how borrowing impacts MSME's profitability, and so on and so forth. Third is the digital financial competency. Interesting for me as well. This one was maximum achievable score of 9 with a focus on commonly held beliefs about digital financial services and behaviors. This can be both practices for keeping financial information safe, some interesting points there that the report highlights, use of DFS for money management. Last but not least, we couldn't leave this one behind because DFS outcome is also pivotal in terms of understanding the realm of financial inclusion and digital financial inclusion. So this maximum achievable score was about 12 with a focus on positive and negative outcomes associated with use of mobile and online financial services. Because we cannot not only measure positive, however, also the drawbacks therein, including current financial circumstances and impact of DFS services on the financial well-being. Globally, people always talk about financial health, so that is brought out a bit within the DFS outcome. Sorry about that. Clearly, technology wants me to pause and consume this. Excellent, excellent. Yes, thank you. I now bring you up to a bit of numbers, but I think the most, maybe if you want to take away anything, I know there is, the positive in green and the negative in red, but the most important for us is the journey, where we are at and where we want to head. We are at about 22.41. Don't think into the numbers. Yes, it's not above 50%, it's about 43. I just did a computation this early morning just to give you a bit of a glimpse of where we are at as Samoa. And this is a moderate digital financial literacy score. What that means is in the 52-point range, which was a computation of the 18, the 9, the 12, and the 6. We were able to get the 52-point range, which is scientific and also global benchmark on digital financial literacy score. And Samoa gained the moderate score. We don't stop there. I mean, we will have, the interventions on how to increase and where we are at that's weaker or that's maybe areas of improvement. But just to highlight on top there, you see that these are some of the segments or demographics that have scored high in terms of the total outcome. So working in public sector, that's really interesting, I think, to ponder on. Working in finance or technology, a bit expected. University educated, expected. Higher income earners, mostly from the urban areas, and that's the Apia region. Those with the lowest total outcome score contributing from the 4 quadrants are middle school educated, lower income earners, age 45 to 74, and not working. Happy for you to continue. The report has actually gone deeper into what those scores mean and what they actually said and which questions were asked. Moving on to the next. This is not to create any, list of hierarchy, but just because the Pacific has a bit of homogeneity as well as heterogeneity. Looking at the 7 countries that we've done the same research with the same, by the same research firm, Samoa is literally in the middle, being sandwiched, which is not a bad thing, but we will want to go up in terms of where we want to be. So Fiji, Tonga, Vanuatu, then Samoa, and the rest. That's Solomon Islands, PNG, and Timor-Leste. So those are the 7 that we've done, and we are now doing Kiribati and Cook Islands next year to just continue this work that we are doing with regards to digital financial literacy. I'll delve deeper into now the 4 quadrants, so the 4 scores and what contributed to it. The first one is digitalization, which is access to devices that I talked about. Access to digital devices, attitudes toward technology, internet access and online activities, and lastly, awareness of and participation in safe online practices. If we move to the next slide, the digitalization score looks like this. So this is the positive, the green, and then the red is more of areas where the contribution was lower. So usual suspects, university educated, working in finance and technology, students, and then working in public sector. Kudos. However, where some interventions are needed is middle school educated again, age 45, 74, so it's almost, we are starting to see similarities already. Lower income earners living in the rest of Opolo, so outside of Apia urban and the periphery. And then in terms of gender and urban areas, we see that there's not much difference between male and female, especially around the total score. So for digitalization, actually the urban areas, women score higher. In the rural areas, males score higher. If we move to the next slide, this is financial competency, which is a maximum score of 13 points. 3 areas of financial literacy were evaluated and used to determine the levels of competency. These were the 3. So one is financial safeguards, so saving behavior, budgeting, use of insurance, and products to protect against financial shocks, attitude towards financial planning and savings, knowledge related to financial transactions. In the same manner, this score was about 6.87 out of the 12, and the similarities continue being seen. So I wouldn't repeat much of that. I think the most important that I find interesting in this slide for me is Samoans aged 25 to 44 demonstrate overall higher levels of financial literacy than Samoans aged 15 to 24. Just ponder on that. I'll take a second as well because this is interesting for us. And the reason why one of our interventions that we want to push before the program ends in 2025 is around incorporating financial education within either college or primary level. So if you look at the age and the scores, 6.34 is the lowest margin. Older Samoans are scoring higher than younger, our future leaders, our future economic champions. So that's something to ponder on and take away as well. On the third quadrant, we're talking about digital financial services plus the digital and DFS outcomes. These we have combined into one slide with a total maximum score of 21. But mostly what we were measuring here was belief related to DFS, so more of perceptions such as the perceived benefits or drawbacks or challenges therein. DFS behaviors in terms of just using basic digital safeguards and use of banking apps and online. There are some interesting data around how many Samoans, for example, or the percentage who have lost money on an online platform, how many have actually clicked onto a link while paying for something online without checking if the link had HTTPS. So some interesting anecdotes around cybersecurity and also online, just literacy on online payments. And then the last one was outcome associated with DFS usage, including potential savings and exposure to fraud or phishing scams. I've given one of the examples that you just highlighted, as well as larger perception on the well-being or financial health. Sorry about that. So this is, to me, I think, I won't repeat part of the upper part, but mostly to just say that 2 in 3 Samoans believe digital financial services are risky for ordinary people. It can be a perception, right? Me and you might know that's not the case. However, how do we, move from as-is behavior to to-be behavior? So a lot of work for me, Governor, Lana, private sector partners who are here today. And we asked a question, do you trust digital financial services? Only 36% said yes. 6% are unsure. 58% actually said no. So the why is what we really want to find out. And I think for me, one of my reflection is actually to follow this research, because these are quantitative research, to follow up with a human-centered research, just a light qualitative data of the why, which we are able to do even internally as UNCDF. 70% of Samoans worry more about scams and fraud other than they did 3 months, 90 days ago. Interesting. Behavioral aspects or behavioral snapshots of the DFLS survey. I think for me, my biggest key takeaway from this slide is actually on the left-hand side. Samoa is actually a cash-based economy. I know that. Governor knows that. And some of us who are in this room today know that. But data actually has now confirmed it to us. 96% of Samoans purchase groceries using cash. 97% pay for meals using cash, and 96% pay bills using cash. Wow. We know there is EPC cash power, which you can use MTALA, My Cash, or even a banking app to pay for, but Samoans maybe don't know or don't use it. What might be the problem? Just 2 to 3% of Samoans at most use a payment card to pay for any of the aforementioned transactions. Up to 1% paid with a digital or mobile wallet, depending on the service. So this is interesting for all our stakeholders that I see in the room in terms of what this data might be and what interventions can come out of. Just something interesting, and this is almost taking the shape of what we did in the demand side study. We had measured that about 39 to 40% of Samoans are financially included. So DFLS has not gone far in terms of measuring this. So we are almost similar. 39% use payment cards too, which is attached to either a current account, and 24% have a digital wallet. 9% pay their insurance policy, and 6% use it for cryptocurrency. Don't ask me which one. We'll go to digital integration snapshot. access to digital devices, and I think this also GSMA measures about some of this. But our DFLS survey said that 79%, as Maria had mentioned in her video remarks, 30% have a tablet or a laptop or a desktop computer. Of course, smart TV penetration looks interesting, and also smartwatch. That's the percentiles. 45% of someone, this is really encouraging for me, to be honest, feel that technology is leaving them behind. So they actually need it. So how do we now go to them and ensure that they first of all trust it, but also have the competencies to use financial services and technology. The most likely to be using internet are working in the public sector, because I think that's the biggest, labor force, university educated, and students. Limitation for internet to our telco stakeholders who are here. First of all, Samoans say that the quality or availability of internet and mobile data in their areas, the limitation is about 69% of Samoans feel that there is quality and availability, which is lower. 49% actually also say the cost of connecting to internet or using mobile data services is expensive, or they not affordable to them. The third one is concerns about security of the service available and whether they will be unlocking more threats to themselves. So that's something for our telco providers to ponder on as well, what someone think of internet connectivity. Last but not least is digital financial services or outcomes. 48% of Samoans agree digital financial services will replace cash in Samoa, yet 66% believe digital financial services are risky for ordinary people. Such oxymoron, right? Yeah, 48 agree, so I get excited, then I see 66 who think it's risky for ordinary people. So how do we solve the oxymoron? However, I always, I think realist, maybe more of an optimist. The green outweigh the red, so that makes me sleep better at night. 68% of Samoans have found it easier to keep track of what they are spending. 67% of Samoans have found it easier to manage their money without help from others. I mean, 79% of Samoans have a smartphone, either theirs or a family member's. 50% of those who engage with digital banking service saved money on financial transactions by reducing fees. I mean, that's really a powerful way to actually bring the rest to this platform and creating these stories, impact stories. The negative outcomes, of course, one is 29% say they were locked out of a financial account for more than a day because of a forgotten access details. That's interesting. Maybe they forgot the password, or they changed their phone and it was attached to, or their phone got lost, and there is actually a two-factor authentication. You know, you name them. We have to go deeper into what were the reasons. 22% claim they lost money as a result of online scams. This is what I was talking about. And because about 11% don't check if the link has HTTPS. Thank you. I hope that was insightful. I hope you will take at least 2 or 3 things home today. But in the culture of Samoa, you can't go without having a talanoa, right? And for that, I was able to get some of our colleagues, with the chair being our own governor of the Central Bank of Samoa, to share some of the plans with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy launch, plus the digital and financial literacy. So allow me to, because I'm taking the stage again, allow me to introduce the colleagues. First, I'll start with Governor. Governor Mayava, 30 years of experience as a central banker, a macroeconomist, a financial inclusion champion in Samoa. Please allow me to welcome Governor Mayava to the stage. Governor, you can take a seat. Second, in our Talanoa or panel session today is Mr. Sucharu, a banker with over 20 years in banking, spanning big names like ANZ, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, among others. Please welcome to stage Mr. Sharu. The third panelist is Mr. Alex Abraham, a techie by profession and at the intersection of tech and financial services, working for the National Bank of Samoa. Welcome to the seat, Mr. Alex. Thank you. Last but not least, a friend, a techie as well, Mr. Faso San Saili, the son of the soil, one that wears many hats, but the hat today is for as an executive of SITA. Welcome to the podium. Thank you. I'll also take a seat because I decided to be taller. Thank you. Thank you. I think without much ado, I'll start with Governor. Governor, we are eager to hear about financial inclusion landscape. Could you paint a vivid picture of the strides made so far with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy? I understand you also have a presentation, so I'll allow you to do that with the presentation. Thank you.
So I get to do the easy part, which is because I know you haven't read the strategy yet, so I'm just going to briefly go through it. Yes, one of the key takeaways from the first financial inclusion strategy was the need to have a clear definition of financial inclusion to ensure a unified understanding by all stakeholders. So as a result, central bank consultation with various stakeholders defines financial inclusion as that. So I'm not going to read it, but the key words there is all Samoans, irrespective of their status, should have equal and universal access to appropriate, useful, convenient, affordable, and quality financial products and services, which they're able to use regularly to meet their life cycle needs based on informed choices. A big definition. They just want to cover everything. Very holistic. So we didn't have that definition in the first strategy, but we still work towards our targets. So because this is the result of a consultation, so we now have a clearly defined definition for financial inclusion. And from that definition, together with the 5 strategic pillars in green or olive, that color there, and also the 4 enablers in gray. So that all supports the vision on top in the orange. I'm not going to read it out, but as you can see, the vision is to build an inclusive and resilient, the keywords, inclusive, resilient, access, client-centric, affordable, convenient, and responsible financial products and services for all Samoans. So before I go further to talk about NFIS, allow me to briefly highlight how NFIS supports the finance sector and economic plans, as well as the government's national development priorities. So as you can see from this quick mapping exercise, the NFIS vision and financial inclusion work really, financial inclusion work really comes in to target the people, businesses, communities, local economies, and ultimately lending support to the sector and the national goals of the government. So you can see that it aligns really well with the pathway for development of Samoa, as well as the finance sector plan and the vision. So this all aligns, the NFIS all aligns to that vision for other sector plans. So just sort of not dive deep, but just drilling down to the strategic pillars of the NFIS. As you can see, there is a clear alignment to the PDS key strategic outcomes and the end of sector plan outcome of the finance sector plan, as the financial inclusion work can facilitate or is the means to achieve key strategic outcome and key performance areas of government. So I think this is quite important to appreciate as we continue to progress and drive our economy. Again, these are the strategic pillars 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, it aligns to the pathway for the development of Samoa, as well as the finance sector plan. So based on the findings of the review of the first strategy, this second strategy will lay special emphasis on those sectors, the MSMEs, the agriculture, remittances, and the digital financial services. The strategy also identified target segments of the population, MSME, the women, youth, elderly, and also people affected by natural disasters. So the issues we need to focus on are access and usage, policy and regulation, financial infrastructure, financial education and capability, consumer protection, and inclusive green finance. So this next slide tries to summarize the core of the work intended for NFIS 2. And these are the 5 strategic pillars, each with its own objective. And each pillar has a number of key focus areas, supported by a number of planned activities. And overall, there's a total of 35 M&E indicators. And I'm glad we're able to fast track one of those activities with the launch today of the Digital Financial Literacy Survey. It's a critical deliverable, having completed the Digital and Financial Literacy Baseline, because as you can see, there is a reference to technology, or in other words, digital, in the first 3 strategic pillars. So the last 4 slides will briefly touch on the key focus areas that will be pursued under each strategic pillar. And for SB1, we have those 4 focus areas: simplify existing products, promote designs of new and innovative products using customer-centric design, and introduce and expand micro-insurance products. So these are the focus areas. I think it was Greg who mentioned, High Commissioner Trevor mentioned the parametric insurance. So that was launched last month. That's a new micro-insurance product. It's a cyclone cover, parametric insurance product that was launched just in time for our cyclone season. So if you require more information, please see our colleagues at Samoa Surety for more information. And the second strategic pillar, only 4 key focus areas as well. I'm not going to read it out. So you can see it's to expand finance sector, promote expansion of mobile-based channels, develop agency channel, and promote and offer value-added features on remittance services. The SB3, we have 7 key focus areas there. Just to briefly mention them, it's rollout of new payment systems framework, and broad-based payment system platforms, expand use cases for digital payments, national ID, which is now in the pipeline. We just need to pass the legislation first. Monitor internet connectivity and smartphone penetration, and we have promote development and use of access to energy products through digital platforms, and promote and encourage fintechs, technology, enable businesses through regional sandbox. So on that note, I just want to say that Central Bank is in the final stages of activating its fintech regulatory sandbox, in which many of the stakeholders here were consulted on. So we sort of done a few of the things in the strategy. And the SB4, there are only 3 focus areas. The central bank, together with assistance from UN ESCAP, has also endeavored to capture MSME access to finance landscape, and that report was launched in 2020, and it's a useful baseline in building up the work targeting focus areas in this strategic pillar. For SB5, building financial capability, of course, our work would not be complete if we did not also focus our efforts on building financial capability of our people, the financial consumers, including the necessary financial consumer protection. So I think I should stop here and let the panel see what they think about the strategy.
Great. Thank you, Mayava. I think I'll go to Mr. Shucharu in terms of just highlighting your money-minded journey, which is relating to the digital and financial literacy piece, and you can take the stage. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I've got a privilege to talk about ANZ's Money Minded. ANZ has a really good financial literacy program called Money Minded that we have been delivering in the Pacific and in Samoa for a number of years. We started the journey back in 2010, and so far we have delivered this program in Samoa for over 2,500 people. As you can see on the page, ANZ does the same program across various communities wherever we are present globally. And this program is really underpinned by making sure that there is a financial system that is inclusive of all. So the central bank's agenda of driving digital and financial literacy is core to this program. If I move on to the next page, over the years, we have delivered this program really centered around building knowledge and confidence in people in how they go about managing money. And while that concept may sound quite simple to many, it is unfortunately a lot more complex for many of our community members. And through this program, we have found that as people have gone through the program, they have come out more educated about some basic principles of saving money, living within your means, how do you prioritize your goals and objectives, and it has been really heartening and fulfilling to see some of the positive impacts this program has created. I would like to stress on one of the real-life examples. A staff member recently told me within ANZ, and that person has banked or actually worked in ANZ for decades, and she said to me that until she went through the program, she was struggling in managing her day-to-day expenses. So it is an important point to call out, because there is an assumption that if you work in a corporate job or you work in big industries or the government, you just know how to manage money, but you may not always. And Samoa brings some unique cultural nuances in how the society operates. There is obligations towards family, there is obligations towards your community, towards your villages and churches. And one of the things we did as a part of the Money Minded program is actually learn about the cultural idiosyncrasies in Samoa and build learned some of that in our Money Minded program. So if we go on to the next page, you will see that this program is actually beneficial not just for ANZ. Obviously, it enables greater trust for us as a bank, which ensures that customers are savvy in how they manage their money, but it also ensures that it improves ability to make the ends meet for our community members. ANZ's purpose is to help shape people and communities thrive. And the way we live that purpose is ensuring that we deliver these programs in the community across the region and making sure that we actually create that value of a stable financial system. We've learned a lot through delivering this program over a number of years, and we continue to do so. One of it is ensuring that we incorporate local nuances in the program. We know that Samoans take pride in family orientation, and we want to make sure that these programs are delivered in a way that is locally led and is well received through the community. And we've got people in our team that are certified coaches who actually deliver this throughout Samoa. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of this. We think that this program has a great opportunity to make an impact in Samoa. We want to talk to anyone who is part of the education system, corporates who think this is an important life skill that your staff could benefit from, or anyone else within your villages or community that you think can benefit from ANZ actually delivering this program. This is not about ANZ selling its products or services. It is purely about driving financial literacy. And what we have seen through our own ANZ banking services is that digital can actually enable a whole lot of barriers that otherwise create unbanked or underbanked scenarios. So distances can often be barriers to banking, and for us, the most common denominator is having a bank account. And for you to be able to have a bank account, it's important that you are able to access those services, and digital enables that no matter where you are. And that's really important as part of the digital inclusion strategy of ensuring that we continue on that journey. And look, there is more to do, absolutely. One of the stats I read in the survey was that 30% of Samoans do not have a bank account. Now, that is a startling number if you think about it, and unfortunately, it impacts the most vulnerable in our community. They are women or young people who are not developing the necessary life skills. So we think that the digital adoption is the way to think about the future. The world around us is changing, and we need to educate our customers of today as well as the customers of tomorrow, and ensure that the education system is set up for basic principles of financial management, and also the community is learning through the wonderful strategy that the central bank has launched around financial inclusion and digital inclusion. So I just wanted to say a big thank you and whawhatai for everyone for listening. If you are interested in talking about Money Minded for your organization, for your community, please come and talk to us. On the next page, we've just got our, obviously it's me here and Rita, who's just sitting over there. She is one of our certified coaches. So if you would like us to help support your community or your workplace in delivering this financial education program, we would be very happy to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shucharu. I now call upon Mr. Alex to make his remarks, but mostly focusing on navigating the tech frontier, empowering opportunities through innovation. Maybe speak a little bit about the alternative credit scoring and the FinTech challenge.
Well, first of all, just a thanks to Central Bank and also to UNCDF for this opportunity to be here to represent, I guess, the technical side of the whole banking sector. I've got a very quick slide just on where we see things And when I was preparing this slide and not knowing the strategy well enough, I'm very new. I guess I'm a newbie to the financial sector. 20 years in telecom, and only just over 2 years in the financial sector. So when I was doing this, I saw a number of alignments, and some of those things around, for example, the credit worthiness. Setuna was just talking about trying to understand where customers and how customers can get access to credit, and as an unbanked person, not having that that basic information about the income they're getting, the expenses that they have. It's very difficult for a bank to make an assessment in terms of risk, in terms of awarding or giving a loan. So one of the things that we've looked at is what else can we do? Is there another way to assess somebody's ability, given that there's very limited information available? So we were part of a fintech challenge just probably going on over a year and a bit ago, and it was looking at a psychometric method and using AI to assess somebody to see if they would be willing or have the willingness and the ability to take on a financial product. It's in its early stages. We've assessed close to about 300 customers in a proof of concept, and we've got a hit rate of about 80% accuracy in terms of that product. Now we're going to take it as a fine grain of salt. We still have to do our own assessment. So we're looking at taking on the product for a couple of more years, just to take an initial baseline and then adapting the data that we collect from it and seeing how that can match with our credit, in our internal credit assessments. The other aspect is onboarding, I guess. How do you bring the customer in through the door? And the challenge, I think, in a lot of cases is people have to come to Apia or go to the nearest branch to do it. So some of the areas that we are looking at is how do we improve that digital onboarding? How do they come on board without having to come in, fill in papers? They can just take a photo of themselves, fill in a form, and then be able to create an account. So there's some work around the eKYC piece. We're working with ADB on that. We're again doing a proof of concept, trying to test a solution that they've created. We've integrated that directly with our core banking system, and we're able to get a customer onboarded. They can go through the whole eKYC process, the AML process. But the challenge there is always having access to the source of truth. For example, customers, I think in our assessment, we've had close to 50% of the IDs that are coming in are either passport, MPF, or one of those main core things. But we had integrated with the electoral database. And again, those, I think, only 5% of the people coming in have electoral cards. So I think what I'd like to leave here with the strategy is how do we get government authorities like the passports, your MPFs, birth certificate, until this national ID comes in, how do you make those systems available and accessible by parties like ourselves? I think the other space that we're working on, we just recently got an award for putting in a e-wallet solution, so we'll be announcing that very shortly. But the solution aims to, get customers on board through our other means. We've got a digital banking app, but we're also looking at a wallet solution. And this was kind of evident during our COVID period where, when the government was trying to look at geographically isolating people, the banks all have their ATMs in predominantly places where businesses are heavily located. And in the rural areas, there's not much out there. So how do we turn the table there? How do we give customers access to our financial products from afar? one of the things I think we're very fortunate with is that we've got integration with card schemes, for example, like MasterCard. And that gives us the ability for our customers, although very small, because not a lot of people have the cards, but they have the ability to use the ANZ and the BSP networks. Now, I used to work in the telco space, so, roaming and all of these capabilities are things that are synonymous for the mobile networks operators. And it's something that I think we need to do a little bit more here in Samoa. It's how do we share infrastructure. I recently was part of a digital transformation fellowship in Australia, kindly funded by the Australian government. And one of the things that we took from it is we did a visit to NAB, National Bank of Australia, if I'm correct. And so they're telling us about their journey. A lot of their banks are closing down, branches are closing down. The ATM networks are shrinking because a lot more people are moving towards digital forms of digital payment. Now, we're not there yet, but we could be quite easily. So it's just something to consider that eventually the cost of maintaining these type of infrastructure, it'll be prohibitive for one bank. So you need to look at some way of consolidating and having that network shared. Look, I think I'm not going to go with everything, but I think the main part of this, and I think you may have heard that I've touched on a couple of partners here. And partnerships are important. We're a small bank in Samoa. We're the national bank, but we're a very small with local shareholders. So it's a unique challenge for a bank like us, for our size, to be able to get the required funds to be doing innovation and doing some really cool stuff. But it is through these partnerships that we believe, and through the central bank, and hopefully there's a lot more collaboration with the likes of UNCDF, with ADB, with IFC, and our card scheme providers, because they're also part of that whole ecosystem, are very key to helping us bridge these little, or help us fix these little challenges that we have and gaps where we're trying to fix to get more people onto or become financially stable and inclusive as part of the scheme. So I think I'm not going to talk too much. I think that's what I'm going to leave. I think there's some positive stuff that we're moving on. We're excited as one of the local banks. It is a challenge, but I know we are very pointedly placed to be able to help achieve the strategy that the government has laid out before us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Now I call upon Faso Sam to highlight on the role of SITA, but mostly maybe touch on some of the advocacy work and research. Thank you.
It is a privilege and an honor for me to represent Samoa IT Association, and we thank the Governor, Central Bank, as well as UNCDF for inviting the Samoa IT Association to collaborate and contribute on the very important topic of financial inclusion, especially for the development and equality in our country. Just a little bit of background about SITA, or Samoa IT Association. We are a membership-based association of all ICT professionals, but we also include other stakeholders that are involved in ICT. So it's not a closed membership organization. It is open to many other membership. ICT is the transformative tool for all aspects of society, and the SITA takes this responsibility with utmost respect and importance. And Alex is actually also part of our council and an ICT member, and we also have many other ICT SITA members in here, and especially the team at the back, which usually when technology doesn't work, we are always the one that gets blamed. But at 99% of the time that it's working, we don't get any of the credit. So one of the objectives of CETA is to provide educational events that allows the public to learn more about the latest technology as well as the impactful technologies. And this is, and one of our major annual events is the Samoa IT Expo. And we have had the privilege of having the Prime Minister open it this year. And we also invite many experts that the public are eager to learn from and hear from. And we also, of course, digital economy is a big part of the demand from the public. So we've included in many of our events the Samoa, the central bank, as well as UNCDF, because a lot of our members get a lot of demand from the public to provide certain services, and this is usually high on the list is digital tools, digital financial currency or payments. So we're also always trying to learn more on this and trying to provide that service to the public. We are also a data collector and a data provider. Now, as Seituna mentioned, data is the new oil. And CETA has provided many surveys in the past and will continue to open up that avenue for us to be part of the data collection so that we can provide this data for policies and making decisions. So as an example is the digital Pacific Digital Gender Scorecard that our team did a survey of over 500 respondents around Samoa, and this was mainly focused on women or gender-based survey. So it's very interesting data that we got from there, and that has also been provided to the government. Many community projects and programs, especially on the side of education, as I mentioned before, CETA provide or created an e-learning program based on the Moodle platform, and this was provided to many of the colleges. Due to funding issues, we are not able to roll it out nationally, but on certain colleges that have the capacity to incorporate it, that we are able to provide that. And the impact of this is that it's been noted at the National University that students that come from colleges that have the Moodle, our Moodle, CETA's Moodle platform, perform much better in terms of using technology because they don't have that learning curve, because the National University uses Moodle as well as an e-learning platform. Another part is advocacy. So it's very important and a very important part of the association to provide advice as well as feedback on many governance in terms of ICT. So ICT governance, so we provide a lot of feedback and a lot of workshops when the government as well as NGOs request for best practice feedback from us, the association. We also have a lot of, well, pretty much all our membership are in innovation and technology. And this is something that we are very aware of, and we're looking forward to, our members are looking forward into more technology being developed by the government, especially the ATS as well, and whether that will be an avenue for more fintech. And as you know, fintech is growing exponentially and providing a lot of benefits, and it's equalizing access to technology, to finance as well. So we look forward in other platforms that the government is providing, that the association can help push the development. Cybersecurity is essential. A lot of our members as well have now become experts in their own rights in terms of cybersecurity, because we understand there is a fear, and as the data showed, of our people not trusting technology. And that's always because of negative experience, and that quickly snowballs into word of mouth of not using technology because someone had bad experience. So that is one of our advocacy side of CETA, is putting together workshops, and we have experts as well presenting remotely and locally about cybersecurity and building up that capacity in our membership and in the whole of Samoa. Digital economy, as I mentioned as well, a lot of requests, either from the government or from the private sector, is always is on the tools that they can use to perform transactions online. So our membership is aware of this, and we've also presented to the chamber. That was actually Alex that presented, I think last month, on e-commerce and opportunities to take your business online and performing online transactions. I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Manuia tatou fofonga.
Thank you. Thank you. I think before we go into questions, I just wanted to give each of the panelists just 1 minute to wrap up, but wrap up by giving, for example, for Governor Mayava, the role of CBS as a regulatory enabler and how the playbook is going to shape up in future. What are your 3 key priorities, maybe, in terms of some of the presentations or some of the plans that you have with the NFIs too? For Sucharu, I'll just give you the platform to talk about maybe harmony in collaboration. What are your plans to explore the money-minded program, but more so with civil society, the central bank, and contributing to the national financial inclusion activities? For Alex, I think my question to you is banking on inclusion. So as we set sail on the financial inclusion journey, what are the key takeaways from your perspective? How does the National Bank of Samoa plan to support and synergize with the NFIs 2.0 as a bank that's having all the plans that you've highlighted? For you, Faso, and the CETA family, I think we are eager to gain insights on CETA's perspective on supporting the advocacy and the digital economy, as you've spoken about. Could you elaborate any specific plans, strategies CETA has for this crucial endeavor? Thank you. I'll just give you a minute, each of you. You can pick the microphone, and we start with you, Governor Mayava.
Testing. Okay. Now I forgot what you asked me.
I can always repeat. Governor, for you, it's the role of CBS as a regulatory enabler. As we look at the playbook in terms of shaping up for the future, what are your 3 priorities as governor and as the chair of the National Financial Inclusion Council? Thank you.
Situno. I think the central bank is well placed to help steer efforts and plans to achieve a conducive environment for financial inclusion to flourish. But that doesn't mean that we have to do everything on our own. We have to partner with, have partnerships, because that will only take us to a certain extent, as far as to a certain extent. So we need collaboration and partnership within the finance sector and beyond, because ultimately what we strive for include better health, quality education, and so forth, so that our people truly prosper. On the regulatory front, mentioned earlier that the central bank will soon activate the FinTech regulatory sandbox, and this is to ensure proposed initiatives to progress financial inclusion are safe for our consumers, but also compliant with regulations. So there is more work being done in the national payment system reform, As you may have recalled, we now have a modernized automated payment system for clearing and settlements, and we will be building on this foundation. And there is also the establishment of an online credit registry that is in the works. The central bank also promotes financial literacy, and I'm proud to say we have partnered with many initiatives to help in this regard. We also have freely available material for public dissemination. Thanks.
Okay, so you wanted me to provide an update on Money Minded, what's happening. So look, we are really, really keen to make an impact in the community. We want to do more on Money Minded. We think that is a really good way of living our purpose, but also it could not sink in better with the digital and financial inclusion strategy and the survey that has come out. So we're continuing our conversations with schools, with employers, some of the large employers, on how we could ingrain some of that in the day-to-day HR activities. We are sort of quite committed on this whole partnership journey. I do want to congratulate the governor on the ATS project. I think those things are really fundamental to driving digital inclusion. And as I was saying earlier, that you know, we need to keep looking at who are the underbanked and who are unbanked, and how can we remove any barriers. I think one of the initiatives that the governor just called out was the national ID. As that progresses, that will be even a further uplift in who can actually join the financial system. And there is always good collaboration across the banks here. I think just the fact that you can see all the banks, all the major banks here in attendance today shows the commitment towards financial inclusion and the digital strategy. So we are looking to playing up hard, but also partnering with everyone else in what would be incredibly important to help Samoa and Samoans progress.
Okay, so I guess my question was around banking inclusion and what our strategies and plans are. I think the big one for us in the next 6 to 12 months is trying to focus around how we deploy the wallet and try to build our merchant network. I think for that to work, you know, if I take my examples, my experience from the telco world, it's trying to build that agent or reseller network who are willing and able to participate. I think one of the challenges we will always have is having sufficient people in the ecosystem, or having sufficient people in the ecosystem who will accept a digital payment. And I know there are stores that you go to where they just accept cash, and that needs to change. So yeah, I think it's a two-prong approach. One is we've got a technology, we've got a solution that will help those organizations take on our product, but I think there's also, I guess, a push from a regulatory perspective where, or an encouragement from the regulatory to these businesses to take on these digital forms of payment. Probably more importantly would be the government making their systems available and opening their systems to accepting or integration. So, because I think there's a lot of areas in government that can be simplified or improved on by making those systems made available. So I think we'd like to be participants in that ecosystem, figuring out how to make it all work. We don't have all the answers, but hopefully there's some lessons learned from previous experiences and new ones that we can generate from, especially from the data. But I think there's a lot of synergies, and I think, you know, the reform on the payment gateway is going to be an essential thing. So I'm keen and excited about what the future would look like. Especially after ATS, it's been I think it's definitely helped a lot. And if there's any space in the sharing of infrastructure, I think is another place that we need to just explore a bit more. in particular because in some cases, some of our costs to go overseas for transaction are quite expensive, and the customer is paying the grunt of that. So if we can lower that, or we can simplify that switching cost, I think we can pass the benefits down to the customer. Thank you.
Right. And from the Samoa IT Association perspective, in terms of continuing our advocacy focus in terms of financial literacy and financial inclusion, we do see an advantage of CETA being an independent actor, and we do see an advantage in that we also have the experts in our association that we can tap into when there is a particular topic or information that's needed. So we will continue to rely on our membership, as well as being an independent actor in, it's not government, it's not private, but it is inclusion of every different sectors of the economy or the country. So there's certainly some concerns or some issues on our side as well, from CETA side, in terms of continuing to have our membership included in some of the particular areas, so that we can contribute when those discussions are had. So there are some sectors that the CETA doesn't have a representative in those areas, so we can't contribute if we're not included. So that's something that we also want to push forward to the government and the decision makers. The other area that we also, because it's a voluntary basis, so it is difficult to continue to have the experts be available to different workshops and different panels. So that is something that the association is trying to work on, to find a more sustainable way that we can provide this advocacy role, but as a sustainable way.
Thank you, panelists. I think now I can happily open the floor for any questions to the panelists before I close. I think my colleagues can help me pass around the mic. We can start with John.
No, yeah. I don't have any question, but I have a comment. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Central Bank and UNCDF, and especially Governor Mayava has mentioned the paramedic insurance. And I'm so happy to say that it was mentioned in the deliverance of the strategic pillar #1. This is an opportunity for me to market it. So here we have all the institutions, and paramedic insurance is one of the means to achieve financial inclusion and resilience for the people of Samoa. So we, as a insurance company, we're offering that. Now, the cyclone season has begun. 2 cyclones been forecast for Samoa. Now, this is an opportunity for all the institutions, the banks, the Vodafone, all the institutions here to take on board this insurance. It's cheap. It's $70 for $1,000 coverage. No assessment has been done. So I'm going to market it, and I thank Governor Mayava for the support and UNCDF. So what you could do is, for example, the Vodafone has 150 staff, right? It's group cover. You can cover your staff. You don't have to be a farmer. You don't have to be a fisherman. So you can cover $70. It costs you $10,000 to cover for your entire staff, so that when the cyclone comes, they'll get some payment out immediately, and using your means, the MTALA, and so has DDCell. So I put it to the floor, and so has ANZ. Now, the gentleman just smiling at me, because he's saying, oh, I want to help people with money-minded. So this is the opportunity to cover your staff and include them $70 so that, and also help your other vulnerables so that they come, and this is exactly delivering your money-minded project. So thank you again. This is my contribution to this, to market the paramedic insurance. Have time.
Thank you. My question is to the Governor. So we are talking about accessibility of the devices, which will be key success to the entire project. Now, if you look at the duty on mobile phones, which is 18% in Samoa compared to Fiji, which is 0%. So which is significantly increasing the price of the mobile phones that we sell in the market in Samoa. So any view on that? Is it possible to review? Because if you look at other Pacific countries, Fiji example 0%, others are very, very less.
I think the appropriate authority to ask that question is the Ministry of Customs and Revenue, but you have a point that we can work together with the Customs and Revenue in our efforts to progress financial inclusion, to have that accessibility. If we are to leverage technology, people should have access to smartphones, and that is something that perhaps we can put it to the table for discussion with the Ministry of Revenue.
Anish.
Hi. Test. Anish from Vodafone. As part of you could say, a leading financial inclusion service that Vodafone provides right now in Samoa, which is called MTALA, one of the most significant, you could say, speed bumps for us were the application of agents to come on board, the agents to be sufficiently be able to provide financing or accept digital payments, something similar to what Alex mentioned as well. I think one of the key things that we've identified as a problem solution was connecting with at least Sucharu and Alex. Both the banks, ANZ and NBS, are connected with MTALA, so you can do a one-way or two-way transfers between the MTALA wallet into the banks and vice versa. That's been a great solution for people to actually access their funds and deposit funds. My question, I guess, to perhaps the governor in terms of regional relationships that that you might have with the other regional reserve banks as well, is there a policy currently in place where you could look at cross-country transfers between these digital wallets? I mean, we've done it already in Fiji with Vanuatu. We're currently working in Samoa. I think we've reached out to the CBS as well in terms of looking at cross-functional transfers using M-Pesa and MTALA. Is there any regulations? Could we use the sandbox that CBS has to test it out so that we could quickly incorporate it? And how does it fall in place in terms of your financial inclusion strategy that you have?
I think that falls into our regulatory sandbox. That's an initiative that can be done using the regulatory sandbox. You just need to send us a proposal and details of what exactly how that Does that work, since it's already been done with Vanuatu and Fiji? And it's something also that will be, I guess we'll have to discuss it with the other fellow governors in the upcoming Central Bank Governors meeting in Solomon Islands in the end of the month. So we can discuss more on that.
Anyone else? Looks like we've done justice to the presentations. So I think I'll do a closing and ask to maybe to put the next slide. Thank you. If you look at this slide, I don't know what you see, but I see one thing. And what I see as the moderator, but also someone outside of Samoa now, engraved into the culture is the Sa dance. As we gracefully conclude our panel discussion, Samoa's financial inclusion journey reveals itself as an elegant Sa. Much like the Sa dance, this transformation from a cash-based society to a digital economy is deliberate, rhythmic, and adorned with cultural richness. In the spirit of Sa, the more performers join in, the more effective the dance becomes, right? So if we want digital financial services, digital economy to be more vibrant, to be more creating the bottom line, we need more dancers. With its precise footwork and graceful movements, the Sa symbolizes the careful and purposeful strides Samoa is taking towards financial inclusion. To truly amplify this dance, we need additional beats in the literacy, because we've seen what the data said, but also governmental initiatives to resonate. Why I say governmental initiatives, we need all the e-government solutions, person to government, government to person payments, to be able to create more performance in this dance. The Sa serves as a captivating metaphor for Samoa's evolution, seamlessly blending traditions with innovation. With every step, not only embraces a digital future for dances, but it with a profound sense of cultural identity. So let's not lose the identity, making this journey both graceful and uniquely Samoan. So I leave you with that. Thank you. I welcome you for lunch. And thank you to my panelists. I think the Central Bank team has something for you, but I'll let my MC do the honors.
Thank you. Thank you, Zaytuna. And also, thank you to our panelists for the session. Yes, we do have a small gift from the two ladies here, from the Central Bank of Samoa and UNCDF, for the gentleman over there. So the team will come around and present a small gesture of thanks from us, the organizing team, for your contribution today and continued contribution as well. All right, thank you very much for that part. And queue up, we have the photo. Thank you, Vema. Please stay, remain seated, and Vema will quickly take the photo. Thank you very much. Please, before they take their leave from the stage, I ask the audience to give our members here a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. You may take your seat. Thank you. Yeah, come very close. Okay. Take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're nearing the conclusion of our event. But before we do, please allow me to extend once again a thank you to the governments of Australia, New Zealand, the European Union, the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, OACPS. Your steadfast support to UNCDF's Pacific Digital Economy Program and Digital Finance for Resilience Program has not only facilitated this endeavor, but has also reaffirmed the power of international cooperation in driving positive change. We extend whawhitai to the multitude of stakeholders who have played a pivotal role in shaping the second National Financial Inclusion Strategy. And the UNCDF, our long-standing partner in Samoa's financial inclusion efforts. UNCDF, unwavering in its commitment and support, has been instrumental in guiding us toward the formulation of a strategy that truly reflects our shared vision for a more inclusive Samoa. Their efforts to continuously support our financial inclusion and the government's inclusive digital transformation journey is commendable. Over the coming years, the dedication of the Central Bank of Samoa to this cause will remain steadfast to foster an environment where financial inclusion becomes a reality for every Samoan citizen through robust policies, innovative initiatives, and collaborative efforts. We call again on the spirit of collaboration and partnership from you all, our stakeholders, to deliver a successful national financial inclusion too. And we look forward to your continued support. So as you may know, we are heading into the cyclone season or the festive season. So either one, be safe and stay blessed. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our event, and we also have lunch served in the restaurant where we can continue our celebration and our network. Thank you, everyone.